I know, guys, I don't get it either. Subaru genuinely shocked me with this one, and I think they shocked a lot of people. I'm sort of scared as to what this means for the future of modifying cars, and I wanted to talk with you guys about that a little bit because I have a lot of questions, and I think a lot of people have a lot they want to say, and it'll be cool to go in the comments and kind of talk about it. With the WRX, I sort of saw that one coming. The concept car looked great. A lot of people really liked it, and the production car looks a lot like the concept car if you took the budget away. So if you said you got to build this car but with half the money that you built the concept with, oh, okay, that's how we get to the production car. So you can see with the concept car, you had the carbon fiber fender flares and all that stuff. The production car looks a lot like the concept car if you built it on a budget. And that's what Subaru did. And so when the production car came out, I was like, that looks a lot like the concept car. Like, obviously it's not as crazy, it's not as bold. The crazy details that Subaru just, there's no way they could have did it for a production car, at least right now. So I saw that coming. And with the massive outcry that we had over the WRX launch, when Subaru was like, hey, here's the new WRX, everyone was like, what the hell, Subaru? Like, people just went crazy over it. I thought Subaru was gonna be like, this is what you wanted. Everyone said the concept was cool, but you know what? Fine, like, challenge accepted. And I thought Subaru was gonna take those criticisms, use the STI as a chance to redeem themselves. Okay, here's everything that you complained about with the new WRX. We fixed it for the STI and made this crazy car. And then they hit us with this. Now Subaru is saying that the STI is it's canceled, basically. There is no longer going to be development for the STI for this body style, or they're not going to pursue a gasoline powered engine for the STI. And so long story short, they are going to postpone the STI until they find a way to electrify it. They didn't specify. I don't know if that means that they're going to make it some sort of hybrid, because there was talks of that in the past where they were going to make sort of like the new NSX. If you guys are familiar with that, it's like a half hybrid. So it's got like electric motors and stuff, partially electric, which really helped with like the instant torque, and then the motor would kick in. Anyways, it's really complicated, but it was like a performance hybrid. And Subaru talked about doing that with the STI for a while, and they never did it. I think I'd be okay with that. I think if they built an STI that used electric motors to help give it a torque boost, that would be really cool. It'd be complicated, it'd be unlike Subaru to do something like that, but it'd be cool. Now, the electric STI has me like, whoa, if they actually go through with doing an electrification, like the whole car is electric, I don't know about that one. It's sort of like the Mitsubishi Eclipse for me. I love the Mitsubishi Eclipse. I had 9 DSMs. The Eclipse is one of my favorite freaking cars in the world. So what Mitsubishi did was they brought the Eclipse name back and put it to an SUV. And everyone was like, what the hell are you doing? The Supra, for instance. You had a couple people that were mad that they called that BMW a Supra. It's still a really cool car. It's a performance car. It's gasoline powered. It handles a crap ton of power. They're about to offer it in a manual transmission. And so whatever, they called it a Supra. I think it's cool. It's a great car. And I feel like that's what would happen if Subaru did that with the STI. If they're like, oh, hey, here's this, even if it's like stupid fast, even if it's like Model S Plaid fast, it's like, it's just weird. It just doesn't seem, I feel like it'll upset a lot of people. So here's where I think it's going to really change things. Because if Subaru is doing this now, well, a lot of car manufacturers have already pledged to be gasoline free by like 2030. And so like more and more manufacturers are setting deadlines for, hey, after this date, we're never making gasoline powered vehicles again. So I think what's gonna happen is all these manufacturers that are making these really cool gasoline powered performance cars, well, they're gonna end and it's gonna be electric. And that's a good thing in some cases because, well, electric's great. It's got a lot of benefits, but we're not really there yet. And so with all these electric cars flooding the market, eventually I think it's gonna be troublesome. The problem with that for us enthusiasts is that electric cars can be fun, they can be fast, but what do you do to them? You stick on a lip kit, you put some vinyl on it, you put wheels on it, you're done. What else can you do? You can't wake up and be like, I'm gonna make my car faster today. Elon Musk might send out an update for his Teslas to make them faster overnight, but what's the fun in that? You just go to your car and it updates itself. You don't get to wrench on it. You don't get to take it apart and install You know, you don't get to spend hours installing a new part for the car, and then you're like, oh my God, this is like the greatest thing ever. You know, after you see how much faster your car is after putting in all that work. You don't get to retune it and feel it get a little bit faster every step of the way. Now, I don't think gasoline cars are ever gonna go away, but I think that's gonna be a big turning point for like new enthusiasts. You know, a used $5,000 car might be an electric car. It might be a Tesla. And whenever that happens, I mean, it's not going to happen overnight, but I think it's really going to change the way the industry is. You already have the EPA banning all these crazy things. You have, you know, all these performance parts are already starting to go away. And they're basically trying to make everything for your car illegal. But they're getting to the point where they're just cracking down on all this stuff. Electrification is going to happen. It's just inevitable at some point. So is everyone going to be driving around Tesla swapped vehicles or what? Like this new STI could be really great. They could do crazy stuff with the handling, the suspension. They could make it crazy fast and have the entire car be electric. And it could be a really freaking cool car. But is it really the same? It's going to be really interesting. I'm not sure what direction it's going to go. But when Subaru announced this, I was just like boggled. I didn't see this coming from them. I don't know, you got to think, if Subaru is doing this to the STI now, when's Ford going to do it to the Mustang? When's Volkswagen going to do it to the Golf R? When's Toyota going to do it to the Supra? When's BMW, you know, and so on and so forth. And eventually all these cars are probably going to carry on their current name and end up getting electrified. That's just really going to change things for everybody. And so I'm curious on your guys' feedback. Like, what do you guys think? What do you do to an electric car? You know, would you be okay like never having a gasoline powered car again? Because I don't think I would. You know, I could have a Tesla Plaid sitting outside right now, and sure, it's fun, but I'm always going to want to modify something. I'm always going to want to be tinkering with something. And it's just not the same. So I feel like no matter what, I'm always going to have that gasoline powered project car. I feel like a lot of gearheads feel that way, and a lot of enthusiasts are scared about the same thing. Just let me know in the comments, like, what do you guys think? Because I don't think I'm there yet. And so where do you guys see this going? Do you see people finding a way to modify electric vehicles to, you know, how do you really make say a Tesla Plaid that goes 0 to 60 in sub 2 seconds? How do you make that faster? And even if you can, what's the point? And then even for like the gasoline powered guys, imagine spending 150 grand on a Subaru just to go exactly the same side-by-side race as someone that bought a $40,000 electric car. Tesla really came out bold. They came out the gate like just swinging hard. And I don't think most manufacturers are necessarily trying to be at that level. I don't know, eventually it's not gonna be like that. I think it's gonna be a competitive market. And so I'm not really sure where it's gonna go from here. I just don't wanna have to get another hobby, you know what I mean? Like, this is theoretical. They just outlaw gasoline cars. I know that's never gonna happen, at least not for a long, long time. But they're like, oh, we're just gonna outlaw gasoline powered cars and everyone's gonna get a free electric car as an incentive. Now, like, okay, you can get thrown in jail for life if you get caught driving a gasoline powered car. What do you do? Like for me, for example, I have a couple other hobbies outside this, but nothing that really interests me that much. Like cars are my thing. Like that's what I do. That's like my whole life. And so like, what happens if that gets taken away? They're starting to take steering wheels out of cars. Like Tesla wants to take steering wheels out of the vehicle. You won't even be able to drive it anymore. But anyways, guys, go down to the comment section and just let me know what you think of all this. Let me know what you think of Subaru's decision with the new STI and what do you think that means for the future of all these other performance cars. The way everyone was so upset over the WRX, maybe they're like, okay, you know what? We're going to go back to the drawing board and that's why they canceled the STI. I don't know. But anyways, guys, that's it for today's video. I appreciate you checking it out. I'll talk to you guys in the comments and I'll see you guys in the next video.